Welcome back to Chokitable Media.
One of Nigeria's most promising investigative journalists, Fisayo Soyombo, is once again breathing the air of freedom after spending 3 days in detention at 6th Division of Nigerian Army in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. According to a statement issued by Acting Deputy Director of the 6th Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Danjuma, Fisayo was arrested at an oil bunkering site in the company of some other persons, which the statement described as a notorious gang of oil thieves. Very meaty allegations, to be honest. What actually happened and why was the journalist arrested in the first place? Well, for his own part of the story, we are now being joined by Fisayo Soyombo himself, the founder of Foundation of Investigative Journalism. Good morning and welcome to the show, Fisayo.
Thank you, Adesha. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you.
Good morning.
You are all hooded up. I hope that you're not hiding any wound or injury or anything like that. You're good?
Yeah, I'm good, but this is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so tell us what happened. You were in detention for 3 days in Port Harcourt.
Yes.
Were you arrested with oil thieves? Or have you dabbled into the oil business that you are now picked? What really happened? Give us the details. Let's know what happened.
So I think everyone other than the Nigerian army already knows what happened. I'm an investigative and undercover journalist. I was investigating illegal oil bunkering. It happened that, it's a complex story. It happened that someone in the security setup was offended that he didn't get bribed because the illegal bunkerers would bribe people in security. For now, I don't want to, be specific, but they would bribe. And one got annoyed and tipped off others to say, something is happening there. So they came. Everyone else ran away other than me. I came forward and had an interaction with them. So one, there was no arrest. The Nigerian army did not arrest me.
They didn't?
No, they did not arrest me.
But you were in their custody?
They spotted me, flashed their torch, and I came out. And I wanted to open a conversation with them.
You showed them your ID?
I didn't show them my ID because the illegal bunkers had said they had settled everyone, and the guys who came were the ones who were not settled, and the conversation was going on to settle them. So I just thought it was a settlement conversation, and I came forward. So they did not arrest me. I came forward. It's not like they chased me. They didn't get anyone. All the other guys, fled into the bush, but I stayed because at the end of the day, I knew I had nothing to hide. The grouse of the army, the real grouse of the army, one, is that I did not carry them along. I won't deny that I have low trust for Nigerian public institutions. A small 2-minute diversion. Last year, I did an undercover investigation on an orphanage home that was selling babies. I bought a newborn baby with 2 million naira, took the baby to NAPTIP. I looked after that baby. After I handed the baby over to NAPTIP, I sent a representative. We go there every month. Our birthday, we bought gifts, Christmas. We woke up one day, NAPTIP shut the door on us. The former DG of, I'm saying it on national TV.
Absolutely.
Farida was the last DG of NAPTIP. She has to answer the question, what happened to that? I brought that baby. I just wanted to, keep up with the progress of that baby. And one day, NAPTIP just shut the door. We just got there and they said, you can't see the baby. So how do you expect someone like me to trust public institutions? So I didn't trust the army. I didn't carry them along. But I'd also known that illegal oil bunkers were bribing different people in various security formations. And I would endanger my life by carrying them along if I didn't know who was who. So that's the first problem they had, that you were doing this story and you did not involve us. Now, I have been vindicated because I spent 3 days in military detention. Everything I told the highest levels of the army, the illegal bunkers were telling me when I left. You get, when they picked me up, it was around 2 a.m., we were in the bush until maybe 4, 5. A soldier stole my 2 phones. The army, I'm saying it on air, I have to fish out that soldiers and punish him. You can't arrest people and then your man is stealing. And when we left, they took me to a camp, a military camp close to that place. We were there till afternoon, until about 3 p.m. I did not say a word about who I was. because I felt it was too general a place to make that kind of statement. They all felt I was an illegal oil bunkerer, and I played along until they took me to 6 Div. And I thought from then, I was speaking with people in offices who were investigating the case. That's when I said, look, I'm actually an undercover journalist. This is proof. But everything I told them, the things I wrote in my statement, as I got out yesterday, illegal oil brokers were telling me, who are you? We thought you were one of us. Now, this is what they said you are. This is who they said you are. They said you are a detective. You are an undercover journalist. Is it true? So, was I not right by not carrying the army along? Because how can you grill me at the 6th Div? And every single thing I told you, I got out yesterday and the illegal workers were telling me every single thing. And they made no mistakes. They were on point.
Fisayo, let's talk about press freedom and investigative journalism in Nigeria, as it were. This is not your first encounter with detention. I mean, it's part of your investigative work, so to speak. What does your experience say about press freedom in Nigeria today, and how has that shaped your approach in how you report on, sensitive issues like this? Because it is important to continue this kind of work. Can you touch on that for a bit, please?
Of course, the press is not free in a number of ways, and one of them is that, especially people in security, they don't want to hear the word investigation. They say, why are you investigating? Are you the police? Are you the army? They can investigate, and the police, for instance, can investigate and prosecute. As a journalist, I can't prosecute, but I can investigate and publish. But every encounter I've had with the police, with the military, once I say I was investigating, something just, changes in them. Like, they don't want the press to do any form of independent work. So why didn't you come to us? Oh, you want to do story on illegal oil bunkering? Journalists come to us all the time. Even foreign journalists, we take them round. Why do you want me to see what you are showing me? If your house is clean, and as an undercover journalist, I go there, I would come out with nothing but the clean report. All my stories are not negative. When I did Prophets of Their Pockets, prophets who were collecting money to issue fake prophecies, the Catholic Church did not take any kobo from me, gave me no fake prophecy. I dedicated one series to it. Say, look, the Catholic Church, I went in, clean, no fake prayers, no fake prophecies. Nobody asked me for money. So if you are clean and I go in undercover, an investigative journalist comes in, you don't have to be worried, because the outcome would still be your cleanliness. But because there's so much to hide, they just don't want the media to do its job. They just feel that by you making claims to independence, then they are giving them bad news. And it's evidence, it's proof of how bad this system is. Illegal oil bunkering cannot stop in this country. I can tell you that. Some of the senior army officials were saying the President Bola Tinubu has said no to bunkering. You people think it's a joke. It will not end because the illegal bunkerers have collaborators in security formations. Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Okay, go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, so you said the illegal bunkers have collaborators. Are we going to expect a report to come out that you had been working on? So you did say that your phones are missing. So how much of the information that you were gathering is still with you, right? And also, why was there such a delay in releasing you? Why did there need to be public pressure before you were released?
Okay. Good. So my phone was eventually returned after pressure, but it took a long time, and they haven't punished the soldier who did it. How much do I still have a story? I'll be honest, it's the first time I have genuinely felt my security compromised. I believe the army deliberately, the acting spokesman of the Nigerian army, deliberately compromised my security by releasing that statement and linking me to oil bunkers. Because FIJ announced that I was in detention and made no mention of oil bunkering. Now you've gone to tell illegal oil bunkers. That's what you did. That, look, this guy was on your trail. Now we have told you. So my utmost concern now is my security has been compromised by the Nigerian army, that should be interested in ending illegal oil bunkering and should have seen me as a partner.
But at what point did they realize that you were not an oil bunkerer, but an investigative undercover journalist.
Wednesday evening.
At what point?
Around 5, 6 p.m. Wednesday
The same
evening.
day?
The same
Wednesday?
Day. Wednesday. They picked me up around 2 a.m. Wednesday.
Oh.
And I was in that camp morning, afternoon, then around evening, before 5, I got there, and then so they knew since Wednesday, because I gave them my real name. I told them, look, they were saying, even if you're a journalist, can't a journalist be an illegal oil bunker? I said, look, all my stories have been experiencing the crimes I'm trying to expose firsthand and providing hard evidence. I've gone to prison undercover. I've gone to psychiatric home. I spent 10 hours in a psychiatric hospital as a patient undercover to write a story on it. I tracked an orphanage for 19 months undercover. I got myself trafficked to Burkina Faso, experienced everything. And I was giving them the titles. Go online and check. That's the track record for years. So I believe that they knew immediately on Wednesday that I was an investigative journalist. Now to Adeswa's question, so why did they keep me? I think the army should be the ones to answer that question. One, if it did not get to the media yesterday that I was an intention, I would still be there. I repeatedly asked them, and I need to speak to my lawyer. Look, I've not committed murder. So let's even say that I'm an illegal oil bunker. I'm saying I want to talk to my lawyer. That one phone call, I should be able to make it to my lawyer. And they denied me. And they instructed all soldiers around there that not one of them must give me their phones. I must not use a phone to make a call, to send a text. You know, if not for the plans I had made before embarking on the story, those plans enabled my organization, FIJ, to know my location. If I hadn't made such plans using technology, I would still be in detention. They told me that we will investigate for as long as possible, even if it's 1 month, even if it's 2 months. Wow. The only reason I'm out now is that it got to the press. So what are you afraid of? Okay, you thought I was an illegal oil bunker when you picked me up. You've then found out I'm an investigative journalist. Why are you keeping me? By Wednesday night, they had become calmer in their relations with me. We were initially hostile because they thought I was a criminal. But by the time they found out in the evening, they had become relaxed, took me to the house of the commander of the, I think, anti-bunkering, Mashegu, if I get the name correctly. Sat down in his house, we talked, they gave me food and all that. So they knew I wasn't a criminal at that point.
All this in Port Harcourt?
Yes, the Liverpool Remadi Champions League. I'm an incredible Liverpool fan. On Wednesday, I watched a good part of it in his house, in the house of the commander. So they knew that I wasn't a criminal. That's why they allowed all that. So why did they keep me? Who were the interests? Who thought that if this guy got out, there was trouble? Now, the army, the Nigerian, that spokesman has to issue another statement. Colonel, what's the name again? Colonel Danjuma. I'm saying it on national TV. Colonel Danjuma, you have to issue another statement and explain to Nigerians why the things I told the army in my statement got out before me. And you released me, and the illegal oil bunkers were telling me exactly the things that I told you.
All right.
They were telling me that they even watched my last interview on Arise TV. That they sent to them from 6 Div.
That 6 Div sent them your interview
people
from
6 Div.
Wow.
Sent my last interview
to the
one
illegal
on prison.
oil bunkers.
Yes, to say, look at the guy that you brought. Where did you meet this guy from? Who is this guy that you brought? So if we are going to end illegal oil bunkering, we have to look at all the security formations. That's where the cleanup starts. It's not the people on the streets who are looking forward to it.
But when you say these things, does it not appear as if beyond being an investigative undercover journalist, that there's a friendship between you and the illegal bunkerers? Why have you continued to relate with them to the extent that they are able to share information coming to them from the army with you?
For my security. So I had a bag with them before. Again, you have to realize that I obtained hard evidence by experiencing the entire process. So we were to load crude onto a truck and move it to Enugu. A buyer was waiting. Some move it to Enugu, some move it to Anambra or Abia, and then some go as far as Kano. So we were to move, but I wanted to see the site. So I insisted. And last minute, they said, drop the bag. Of course, they knew that it could go south. Said, this is your bag, you don't need it. This item, you don't need it. So I dropped 2 items with them, and I went. And of course, from there, I ended up with the military. I needed to retrieve my property with them. So I still had to interact with them. Now, the thing is, there's not a friendship. I'll be honest. The two guys who were the foot soldiers, those are not people I'm interested in. Those are people who are victims of the country, who have no job, who want to make ends meet, they need to eat somehow. Those are not the people. They have bigger backers. And those are the people that I think should be exposed. The people in security formations, whose job, look, there's no society that can function well when institutions are lax. You know, when you can commit crimes and the institutions that should prevent the crimes, that should prosecute you for being a criminal, are your collaborators. So for me, the bigger deal is that security formations take bribes. It will shock you the kind of people who escort illegal oil bunkers out of Port Harcourt. It's public. The army spokesman knows it.
Did you witness that?
Of course.
You
That's
did?
why I was there. Yes. But I'm not going to say the security formation online because, as I said, this army spokesman already compromised my security by going online to say you found a journalist at the site of an illegal oil bunkering site, a gang of thieves. The real gang of thieves, they're in that. I'll be honest, there are people who are clean in the army. Yes, in the course of that's why one of the reasons why trucks get burnt, why illegal oil bunkering sites get destroyed. Another reason is that some don't get bribed, and then they sabotage the process. But yes, there are clean men in the military, but the major cleanup has to happen from the saboteurs in there.
You have to get rid
Six
of those.
div. How can you grill a journalist at 6 div, and the information is out with smugglers? With oil bunkers.
So yes,
that's a huge indictment.
What you're saying is we have good apples, but we have some bad apples.
And the bad apples outnumber the good
outnumber
apples.
them. Have you? Before I ask a question, have you been able to get those bags that you had to drop before you
Yes, yes. They were contemplating burning it.
But you were able to retrieve it,
Yeah,
thankfully.
because they got everything about me.
Okay, Fisayo, you've been detained in the past and now this. And when we look at journalism and the kind of journalism that you do, of course, it involves venturing into very difficult and often, hostile environments.
Dangerous would be the word.
Dangerous and hostile environments. How do you personally navigate the balance between pursuing these very hard-hitting stories and ensuring your personal safety? Has any incidents, kind of changed the way you approach investigations in the future? I mean, at the end of the day, your safety is paramount. You can't do your work if you're not safe. So how are you able to navigate this?
I can't discuss this on national TV how I navigate. I'll just say that I review my security apparatus from time to time. So this is the highest level I've faced, that before I release a story, an agency that should be on my side, even if they were offended that I didn't carry them along, then went to rat me out. That's how I see it. So this is a new level for me that I need to deal with. I don't think it's going to change how I approach stories in the future. However, I do know that I'm running out of time. So maybe I have 1, 2, 3 more undercover investigations to do, and I'll say, that's it for now. Rather than change the approach, I would rather stop than change the approach. For me, the approach to it's not for the fun of the exposés. It's not for the adventure. It's that we need to understand the problems of this country. If you don't even understand the scale of our problems, we can't begin to talk of cleaning up the system. Look at what I did on smugglers. You closed the border, right? You closed the borders and you said no moving of rice into the country. But then you have people in customs. It's the Nigerian Customs Service that supervises the smuggling of rice. Now, the president should open the borders, let people move in rice legitimately, and support local farmers. You are destroying the economy. You are destroying the economy if we can't meet our rice needs. Rice is a staple, and the president cannot say, if you can't meet our needs, let's come up with a 5-year plan to support local farming. People have to know that in their country they can thrive by doing honest business. Now you've closed the borders, then people feel the only way to make money from rice is to smuggle. Now you're ruining the economy. Now someone has to expose that so that we know. And when people bring in rice...
You have a court case as a result of your...
Yes, and when people bring in rice, when you give people to bring they hide other things in there. Yeah. Are you able to prove? Before the army picked me up, I got intel that they were going to bring in some things that were in rice. And so you are compromising national security. and you are destroying the economy. So it's not just about exposing the stories. You need to understand the danger that some of these decisions pose to our collective interests. Because when you have people in border areas who only think they can smuggle to make a living, they become criminals, they want to have guns. The day they are not smuggling, but they need to use their gun, they'll use it on you and me if they have to. If the borders are so lax, I can bring anything in, the borders are so lax. I got an international passport in this country, fake, and I traveled through the borders, out and in, and nobody found me out. You can't have a country like that and think we are fighting security. Put in billions into security formations. If the borders are so porous, we can bring in arms and ammunition. And people who do it are connected to some of the people in the highest levels in security in this country. Then what are we talking about?
All right, Fisayo, let me return quickly to the issue of the oil bunkering and your submission that it may never stop. I chose to use the word may. You said can and never stop. This is my worry. Apart from institutions and military formations that are there, particularly the Navy, we have Tantita, who government is paying billions of naira on a monthly annual basis to ensure some, some sanity, and catch thieves. And you think that with all that, we still can't get it right? The government has pegged its 2025 budget on 2 million barrels per day. You think that is not achievable with what you've experienced? And then 90, and I like to quote this a lot, 90's report, I think it will be between 1995, it's a 15-year report up until 2021 or something like that. They found that the amount that Nigeria lost to oil theft was far bigger than the amount that government claimed to have spent on what was that thing they removed? Subsidy. Because of the huge amount of crude that we're losing to this day. You think that this thing is so lucrative and the environment is so lax that it will continue? If it will continue, are we doomed to that reality?
First thing is, the figures being put out in terms of crude oil theft, I can tell you that they are an underestimation of the real figures. The truck that we used was to move 50,000 liters of crude. We had reached the point where the crude would be loaded. The hose had been passed out. If that one person that was annoyed that he didn't get bribed, did not talk, 2 trucks would have moved. There was a second truck that was to come behind us. And that's it. So if you then look at all the oil producing states, and that's just one point of loading, I've seen roughly 4 potential crude oil theft points in Port Harcourt alone. So add the other oil producing states. It's a lot of crude that the country is losing. But again, there is no institution that can say for a fact the barrels of crude being lifted from the refineries daily. So it's not only the illegal oil bunkerers who are thieves. Some of the people whose job officially is to supervise the process, their hands are not clean as well. So I don't see the situation improving anytime soon, because what would be needed would be to overhaul the security apparatus. Because as I said, the saboteurs outnumber the good eggs.
But this is the bottom of the totem pole, right? Like these small guys who are bunkering. Did your investigations reveal anything about essentially the bunkering industry? Because there's still guys on the top, right? They're guys who build the system. Like even if this is a drug empire, these are the runners, and then you have your Al Capone, sitting somewhere. So it was your investigation around that, like essentially the industry of bunkering, because it seems like an organized criminal enterprise.
Yeah, it's organized. The question is too sensitive for me to answer.
Okay. Okay.
What do you say to the things that you do? These days, we do not have so much of that. in the legacy media, in the traditional media, maybe because of the danger, maybe because of, what's attached to it. Do you think that journalism is failing the country on a larger note, or do you think that everybody has been bought or compromised, or people are just afraid, like Fela said?
I don't think journalism is failing the country. I think the country is failing journalism. Because how many Nigerian journalists have life insurance? How many can say they have? So it's a risky venture. I do it because I am convinced that this is what my life is meant to be about. I have absolutely no doubt. You said what?
That's what you were placed on this earth for.
Yes, it has absolutely nothing to do with remuneration, with money, I wake up every day knowing that I will come back home. I may end up in the police cell. I may end up in a military detention camp. I may not come back. Because at the end of the day, death is the end of every one of us. We're all afraid of, talking about death. That's the end. It's just a question of when, whether it happens at 30 or 60, or it will eventually, happen. So I take it as my life mission, and I do it. But it's difficult to find people who know that if they are killed, that's just it. There's no insurance. Their name gets forgotten. People tell me all the time, why do Nigerians, we not remember you. I don't want to be remembered. I'm not living. Someday when I go, just let me rest in peace. Don't remember me. So these are the guiding principles for my life. They're personal, but institutionally, if I came into the industry as a journalist with subliminal interest in investigative reporting, I wouldn't go to this length. The motivation has to be deep, internal, and personal, because the environment does not support it. I spent like 6 million naira on this story.
Wow.
Yes. I bought a baby for 2 million naira. NAPTIP did not say, let's recover the money for you. Arrows of God did not say, let's recover the money for you.
Fisayo, I know we have to go very quickly, but my WhatsApp is blowing up. A lot of young journalists who look up to you as a trailblazer in investigative reporting. Now, after your recent ordeal, or your ordeals, so to speak, what advice would you give to young aspiring journalists who might be discouraged by the risks associated with holding powerful institutions accountable, in few words?
Advice is you cannot be influenced by external factors. I think it's a weak position for any human being to have. For everything you want to do in life, investigative reporting, you have to know why you want to do it. External factors should not influence you.
Thank you so much.
So, before Adesua signs off, I would just like to say that you are a pride to this profession, from the Guardian to the Cable to what you do now. The profession and the country need more of your time.
Thank you for watching.
Well
this is Chukitable Media. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel.
I'm very glad you asked.
Like and love and share it to your loved ones as well. God bless you as you do. See you next time.